Today we're playing the granddaddy of dinosaur games. It is Nicole.
It is Ark Survival Evolved.
And this game's a little crazy.
It's a little bit crazy. Like, I could not tell you the plot, so I won't.
This is Won't You Be My Gamer. I'm Elise Willems.
I'm Nicole Zavalich, and this is the show where we play video games in search of knowledge.
This week we're joined by Dr. Nate Smith, who is the Director of Dinosaur. What a cool job to have. Director of Dinos at the Natural History Museum here in Los Angeles. We have to create a character right now.
Okay.
And you might be wondering, like, why is there a human in a dinosaur game? That is another thing that might seem a little bit wild.
We are really jamming up the head and neck, huh?
Yeah, it's like one of those
little
big
bobblehead
head,
characters?
like, yeah.
No, I felt like the male tune was so hulkish and massive that it seemed wrong to not have the woman be.
She needs extreme size and mass.
Yeah.
But keep the legs small. Because we gotta be quick.
Dang, I can do whatever I want.
Nice.
What? I'm gathering.
Oh, there's a dinosaur. What dinosaur is that?
It looks like a duck-billed dinosaur,
like Ducky.
Are these
something like Parasaurolophus, maybe?
these dinosaurs go in like they're
Oh.
called duck-billed? Do they go near water much? Like, are they swimmers?
Some of these dinosaurs probably were able to swim, just like a lot of modern animals today. Although we don't have a lot of species that we really think were secondarily aquatic, like really adapted to life in the oceans. There's been a bit of a hullabaloo about some dinosaurs and how many adaptations they might have had for that lifestyle. But surprisingly, over hundreds of millions of years of evolution, you don't really get real secondarily aquatic dinosaurs until you get into the evolution of birds.
Sorry, anytime she brings up her character, I can't.
She's all of us.
Like,
We did this together.
you've been on so many digs over the years. Can you walk us through what a standard dig site looks like? Or maybe they're all different.
Yeah, they can all be a little bit different. I mean, a standard one in terms of like where you've got an active bone bed, not where you're kind of hunting for new finds, but you're just kind of going back and you're reopening that and collecting more material from that. That might be a big area that you've kind of benched off, so you've got a nice flat surface, so you're not kind of tunneling into the side. You're working down on top of the bone so that you can kind of document where everything is. Depending on where you are, most of these places are kind of in the deserts of the Southwest. We might have some nice tarps set up, give us a little shade during the day. We bring a handful of gear out there. Most of the stuff we're keeping back at camp. And then, we'd spend the better part of the day collecting, documenting those fossils and bring them back to our camp. And then we get our tiki torches set up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Then this comes at night.
So is the idea, are we in the future here, the past?
Great questions, of which we have no answers.
We don't know.
I'd say the future past.
Does that help? It's similar to
We
X-Men.
had to go forward to then go backward, to have the technology to go backward, I guess.
So we're back to the future now.
Or some kind of simulation thereof, maybe.
Makes me want to punch a tree.
I got good news for you, because at this current moment, the only thing I can do.
Oh,
I know.
we're on this deserted remote island. Are there parts of the world where the consensus is, wow, we would love to be able to go there and search for fossils, for information, but it's so hard to get there, or it's off limits, or?
Sure. I mean, one of the places we've worked, Antarctica, is a good example, right? There's, tons and tons of exposed rock that we could check that we still haven't searched for fossils and other evidence of past life, just because it is so difficult to get down there and work.
Oh
boy.
my
You
gosh.
have to. This is how you befriend things. Is this true in
Really?
science?
Friend them that
In
way?
science, is this true? So you have to make it
Oh my God.
unconscious. We're gonna name him Moo Moo. Moo Moo.
Okay. All right, Moo Moo, come on. Is he part of our entourage now?
He full on is.
Cool.
So
yeah.
he would die for us now.
Yeah.
Come along, Moo Moo.
And I will die for him.
Can I name this one?
Yes. What's his name?
Hank.
Hank. Oh, that was an accident.
knock out
That was
Hank
an accident. I'm sorry, Hank.
Oh no.
Okay, so let's find a dinosaur to mess up.
So now they're just gonna hang out over here, or?
Yeah, now they're just gonna follow me. Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh.
Oh, these lovable idiots.
Oh, I love them. No, do we have any evidence that would suggest that they were cute and cuddly and liked humans?
And punched into extinction?
Well, we
Give or take,
we
yeah.
do have evidence of that.
I feel like cartoons portray the dodo as a pretty, idiot bird. Would we say that's true?
Well, more like, I don't know if this phrase would be right, like anthropologically naive.
Oh, that's cute.
That's sweet. Yeah, I like that. So it's unclear whether we're in some kind of simulation here or what era of history we might be in. Do you have a particular era of dinosaur that you study, that you focus on?
Yeah, a lot of what I specialize in is kind of the early part of dinosaur evolution, in the late Triassic and early Jurassic. I'm definitely in the field that we're kind of like blending a lot of time periods here.
Oh yeah, they're taking liberties here. What differentiates the different eras from one another?
So it's basically time, right? Different chunks of time, and they're not kind of equal amounts of time. But we could think of the age of dinosaurs, the Mesozoic, is divided into three of those chunks: the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the Cretaceous, right? With the latter kind of ending with a major mass extinction event.
And how was it decided, like, okay, this era will end here and this one will start now? Like, are there some sort of benchmark or?
Yeah, so back in the day, even before we kind of had precise age control for the time periods, right, we would see different packages of rocks and kind of abrupt transitions between rock units, and that allowed us to kind of differentiate, just relatively where we were in that time package, with older things being lower down in the rock section, younger things being higher up in the rock.
Oh, okay, so it's like how deep a fossil is indicates what era it was, or?
Well, how deep in kind of a theoretical section,
Okay.
where we're finding these fossils is where those rock units have been uplifted to the surface today. And in different parts of the world, some parts of the world might have more younger Cretaceous rocks, some parts of the world might have older Triassic rocks, or even rocks that predate the age of dinosaurs. And now we're getting some fish.
She is in the thick of
Yeah.
it here.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we did
A
just.
saber-toothed salmon, all right.
We do have like birds now, which are dinosaurs. But are there certain dinosaurs that went extinct that you think, wow, it would have been really cool to see what a Tyrannosaurus Rex would have evolved to? Or
Oh, you mean if we had kind of let the tape rerun and keep going? Sure,
Yeah.
it would have been really, we were at the end of the Cretaceous, we were getting some interesting things happening, right? We were having some of the largest bodied dinosaurs that ever lived were around, including like titanosaurs, these giant long necks, but also, things like Tyrannosaurus and its relatives. The ceratopsians, including Triceratops, was one dinosaur group that most paleontologists think we're still kind of in the midst of diversifying and radiating out when that extinction occurred. So they might have kept running. Yeah.
cool. To give us an idea of the scale and scope of the size of some of these dinosaurs, like how big were some of the biggest dinosaurs?
Yeah, you're talking about some things that might be over 100 feet long. Well, some of it kind of gets a little tricky, which is why I'm kind of hesitating.
Yeah.
In terms of, we use the superlative all the time in paleontology, but it's a tricky in terms of what does like the biggest dinosaur mean? Does it mean the longest head to tail, or the highest in terms
Upright.
of how it stretches
Yeah.
out its head, or the heaviest?
There's one that's like the Dreadnoughtosaurus or something like that, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's one that is commonly considered to be the largest, most massive dinosaur that ever existed.
What a good name.
Yeah.
And these things sometimes get traded back and forth as new discoveries get made, or as new methods for estimating things like body mass might be introduced. We might constantly revise these things.
Wasn't Triceratops revised? Like what we thought was a Triceratops and then ended up being like a baby Triceratops, and then we retconned and we're like, no, this is a Triceratops.
Like there was always something getting retconned.
There's
Yeah.
always, yeah. So paleontology, like any other science, is not just kind of like a Wikipedia of facts, right? It's all testable hypotheses that are then getting reinvigorated, revised, or in some cases supported, in some cases refuted. What you're talking about is a little bit of what we might say is like taxonomy, right? Are things getting lumped or split together? And that's constantly going on in paleontology, where somebody might come along and say, these things you call two different species, they're actually the same species. This is just population level variation, or one's older than the other, or one's male and one's female. Did that turtle kill you?
Big
So
turtle,
I was killed by Carbonemus.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, it was. But he's level 31 and I'm like level 3, so it's
Oh,
honestly
yeah.
like good for me.
Oh no, and our dodos were killed too.
What?
That hurts worse.
Are you sure?
But we're back.
Yeah,
'Cause we've got that little
there's very
weird
few
thing in our wrist.
consequences.
So much of the world's oceans have yet to be explored. Are there secrets to dinosaurs at the bottom of the oceans?
Well, I mean, there wouldn't be, marine dinosaurs per se,
No,
but there are
I mean, like
certainly fossils that are.
yeah.
There's occasionally been cases of fossils that have come up, through dredging and things like that, because you think, these are rocks that were deposited in terrestrial environments that later might have been inundated by water.
So like, no, you're not of the Loch Ness monster belief. You don't buy that.
No.
Plesiosaur kept on living, just kept on vibing.
Prehistoric monster hidden at the bottom of a lake.
No, seems unlikely to me. One of our previous graduate student, who's now a postdoc at Rutgers, Kirsten Formosa, shout out to her because she played this game and is probably rolling her eyes at me that I don't aren't not recognizing everything instantly.
Was she like, you gotta check out this game, it's so cool?
I think she knew that kind of I peaked with the Nintendo Entertainment System and that these games weren't going to be my jam. That looks like a cormorant.
Isn't that cute?
See, that I know.
It's like a cooked chicken.
It's beautiful.
So this is the Jurassic Park,
there you
the
go.
dinosaur that kills Newman. So, how's this guy look? Does this guy look like he's grounded in reality a little bit?
Just a little bit, yeah. You do have the two crests along the skull that are present. They're really thin and fragile on the fossils. It's the frills that I'm maybe not buying too much.
Oh, okay. Would any dinosaur have had that kind of frill? That flare?
I mean, we don't have any direct evidence of that.
So Steven Spielberg was just like,
I think that was one of those things of, borrowing some inspiration from modern living animals and tacking it onto
This
a
guy,
dinosaur.
oh my gosh, it's
He's
like an
incredible.
elephant. He's like
an anteater.
an anteater.
And a
and a
hippo all in
mole
one.
maybe?
Is this
Flamoia.
does this seem far out of the realm of what might have walked the earth once?
Oh, we probably had something like this.
This seems
I'm
more
going to call
like
him Hans Moleman.
Oh, that's a great
I
name
love
for him.
that.
Oh,
what?
big old snake.
Okay, so were there dinosaur snakes?
There were not dinosaur snakes, but snakes have been around
Stegosaur?
going back into the age
Yeah,
of
is
dinosaurs
that
for
a
sure.
stegosaurus?
It says
Yeah. Titanoboa. Okay. And this, if I'm not mistaken, is
Titanoboa?
from the Paleocene.
that can't be
kinda
real.
Colombia. It was one of the largest snakes, if not the largest that ever existed.
Let's see if I get him to step on me. Step on me. Walk on me. But no, it doesn't seem like he wants to walk on me. He's got very
Not that
big
kind of video,
ears.
Nicole.
Yeah. I don't picture dinosaurs with ears.
Oh, this is not a dinosaur. This looks like an extinct mammal.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
okay. How would you tell the difference to know? Because it looks like a dinosaur to us.
Right. Well, they're both, what we would nerdily call parasagittal, right? They've brought their limbs underneath their body. But just from looking at it, we don't have dinosaurs with that body shape and body form.
Oh, okay.
Or that little stubby kind of almost like elephant-like tail. So yeah, this is definitely, sorry, Kirsten, you're already rolling your eyes. Like a mix of different animals from different groups and different time periods.
A frog?
Yazul buffo, yeah. So this is a giant frog from the Cretaceous of Madagascar.
He's fantastic. This kind of like coloring, this bright, and I know we don't know. Is this just them taking liberties and saying, let's make it colorful and fun?
We don't know for sure. I mean, some of the really colorful animals that you see today, in the case of some, frogs, it might be, to ward off predators, to say, hey, I'm toxic, you don't want to mess with me, you don't want to eat me. Mm-hmm. Some things that get these colors, they're signaling kind of features to other animals of the same species. So there can be many different reasons for having, that kind of coloration.
It's starting to get later in the day, so it's starting to lose a little light.
So what do we do now, Nicole? Do we
Well-
have like any kind of shelter or anything?
Well, I didn't really spend very much time gathering resources, so I don't actually have the ability at this moment. Although no, the answer is no.
We were very much the grasshopper versus the ant, looking at dinosaurs when we should have been figuring out how to survive.
So we can't
Spiky.
cut a tauntaun open and sleep in it.
No, unfortunately.
We're seeing a lot of really cool dinos in the game here. Are there any from your period of history that you study that are you're like, these are the coolest ones?
Sure. Well, a famous dinosaur, we have Augustine as our California state dinosaur, but the state fossil and dinosaur of New Mexico is Coelophysis, which is in the area that I work each summer. So I'd love to see some little Coelophysis running around. I don't know if they're in ARC or not.
What does that dinosaur look like, or presumed to look like?
It's kind of a small bipedal predator, a little bit smaller than a human. Most of them were. I'm not sure. I feel like a lot of these dinosaur games, we get kind of they have a bit of a bigger dinosaur bias in them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
maybe I'm just being a little sensitive.
I guess there are some little ones running around, just maybe harder to find. Oh, dino!
Oh, this is like that big guy.
Full in
that
the
same big
moonlight.
guy.
I think we're gonna die out here.
I think we're gonna die out here, but we're gonna die out here best friends. The three of us.
I don't know if Dr. Nate agrees with that.
No.
Here we go.
We're close to the light.
Getting close.
We're close to the light. All right, well, I found this.
We found it. We got close.
I found it, and I'm proud of us.
Well, Dr. Nate, that was pretty anticlimactic, but thank you so much.
It's a nice find. I'd be excited if I came across that.
Oh, I'd lose
excited
my
and
mind.
terrified.
Yes.
Probably.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing all of your dino knowledge with us. How can people watching learn more about the Natural History Museum and your work?
Sure, you can go to nhm.org to find out all about us, or come visit the LaBrie H. Harpitson Museum or our main campus, the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County, and see our new NHM Commons exhibit.
And after you visit the museum, head to pbssocal.org/gamer, where you can donate and help support the show. Just gonna be lost out here in the wilderness.
Yeah,
forever,
I am.
right?
And if you're not lost in the wilderness, I suggest you find us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We have lots of content. We have weekly episodes, and it wouldn't be possible without viewers like you.
Can we check in on our character again? See how they're doing?
Please don't.
I added
Great.
pants.
Yeah, okay,
Hey,
the
pants.
help
All
a
right,
little
that helps.
bit.
That helps.
Fashion forward.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm proud of us.